I see Carlos Baleba in that defensive midfield spot. That frees up Fernandes more to do what Manchester United need Bruno Fernandes to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I think bringing him in would be exciting because it gives Fernandes a chance then to link up with all these new players that are coming in, and it just lets him be him. And I think it'd be a perfect fit.
Because he was terrific. He's got the physicality to get around the pitch. He's exactly what everybody's talking about, what Manchester United need. Casemiro in the back end of his career. Last season, Christian Eriksen there again, back end of his career. They have got Manuel Ugarte, they have got Kobby Mainoo as well, but it feels like a younger player who can get around the pitch in that defensive midfield area is what Manchester United, Ruben Amorim, is crying out in his system. And Jeff, you really, like, Bruno Fernandes is still the star man at United, despite the signings they've made. As we see him drop back, chase
far,
a lot.
yeah.
He does, doesn't he? Does the almost like the dirty work in midfield when you kind of want Bruno Fernandes to be that link, as you said, and the link with Matheus Cunha, Bryan Mbeumo, and now Benjamin Sesko up front. You throw a Carlos Baleba in the mix, I don't think I'll be the only one believing. It will be the Manchester United fans believing that they can do something very, very special. But Matt, will they get him?
We understand that those clubs are both in the Premier League and in Europe, and that Mainoo is potentially open to leaving Old Trafford. I don't think he wants to. He would rather be a feature in the first team, but he's getting the impression pretty clearly that he's not part of Ruben Amorim's plans, and he hasn't yet said that directly to the club that I want to leave. But it's pretty clear that United, if they were to get a good offer for him, would have to consider it.
Do questions need to be asked about Amorim? Because we can all see it, he's shoehorning his captain into that side, out of position, and he's got a player who plays that position for England in a final, sitting on the bench. Do we need to ask, what is the head coach doing?
Well, a lot of people are asking that. Gary Neville has tentatively asked that, hasn't he, after the weekend? And he said if he doesn't fancy Kobby Mainoo, Manchester United have got to go out and buy a midfielder. He's a bit bemused by it because, like the rest of us, they think they have a ready-made young talent, if not a generational talent, then you know, an excellent player of huge potential. I think what we have to say is we don't know what's gone on behind the scenes, because that's the only thing I can think that is happening here, that there is some sort of personality clash, relationship problem between Mainoo and Ruben Amorim.
Do you think, is it not just a case that he thinks, I've got to play Fernandes, he's my captain?
He doesn't have to play Casemiro.
Listen, the Kobby Mainoo thing, in part as well, you could argue that Mainoo is the victim of circumstance here as well, because Ruben Amorim is playing a 3-4-2-1 formation. That's why Manchester United hired him, and he told them, this is the formation that I play. The number of games is a bit of a hindrance for Kobby Mainoo as well. Because Manchester United didn't win the Europa League final, there's no European football. So suddenly, it's effectively, apart from this week, of course, when there's cup games, there's one game a week. So Ruben Amorim will see, what is my best team? And at the moment, he feels Bruno Fernandes, his captain, is in his best team ahead of Kobby Mainoo. But there's not much wriggle room for him to be able to rotate that, because there's not a Europa League or a Champions League or a Conference League campaign whereby he can play these players. Look, Mainoo is starting today. I wonder if...
Against Grimsby.
I get that, but if there was a deal that was close, for example, behind the scenes, would he be playing tonight? You know, would they try and harm any kind of deal? So it should be said, as Rob mentioned before, that Manchester United are happy with him. They don't want to lose Kobby Mainoo. This is more coming from Kobby Mainoo's side, because for the first 2 games of the Premier League season, he's an unused substitute. He feels like he's not going to get the game time that he wants because, like many other players, and we're going to see this as a big theme in the final few days, I need to find a club where I'm going to play because I want to be in the World Cup squad, whichever country they play for.
The other point is, though, that there's a fundamental point there. You're right that Manchester United haven't got the number of games. You're right about Ruben Amorim's chosen formation with 3 centre-backs. It means he can only have 2 central midfielders. I get that. But fundamentally, most football pundits would say, looking at Bruno Fernandes, Casemiro and Kobby Mainoo, and you're looking for 2 number 8s in that role, that surely one of those has to be Kobby Mainoo. Yeah. And that's why, to me, it says something else is going on here. There has to be something behind the scenes, because it makes no logical footballing sense that Kobby Mainoo can't get a place in that starting 11.
OK, I want to talk about some of the bomb squad, Dharmesh. Rasmus Hojlund, what's the latest on him?
Yes, so Napoli continuing to hold talks with Manchester United over the signing of Rasmus Hojlund. They do want to find